Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. Welcome to Connections on Purpose. Whether you're here with us live on Zoom, joining on our Facebook account, or watching the YouTube channel later, I'm glad you're here. This is a great time to slow down, fill up, and connect with other heart-centered women who are making their unique difference in the world. I'm blessed to have one of those women with me today. Jennifer Corbeau was speaking on the courage to go alone, how solo travel reconnects you with your own life. Jennifer is an inspired living coach, and she believes the fastest way to find yourself is to go somewhere you've never been, alone. She knows because travel changed her. It built real trust in her body, her instincts, and in the love she has for herself. Since 2011, Spiral Path Journeys has taken women to the sacred landscapes of England, Ireland, and New Mexico, where the land itself sees to do all the work. And you can find out more about Jennifer at her website, which is in the text of this video. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us today. I look forward to what you have to tell us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just very honored, and I'm already so excited to talk to all of you who are just already know what solo travel can do for you. And it's courageous. It's courageous to go somewhere and be alone. And that's for a lot of reasons, not just because you're going somewhere and you're alone, but there's a lot more to it that's very brave. And so, yeah, I'm going to talk to you about the courage to go alone and how solo travel reconnects you to your own life. Um, I went to Los Angeles. This is many years ago. I went to Los Angeles. I'm from New Mexico, and we don't see a lot of water in New Mexico. So it's always a wonderful experience to go somewhere where there's more water. And so I actually went for a workshop, but I chose an Airbnb where I was in walking distance to the ocean. And so one evening when I first got there, I went walking down to the ocean and I could just start see it's in the distance and now the ocean is getting closer and I can see it. I can start, I can smell the sea, I can feel the sea breeze, all the things that, it's nice to do when, especially if you're coming from the Southwest desert. And I was walking up and I remembered it was maybe an hour or so, maybe a couple hours actually before sunset. And I was watching the water come in and I was watching the sun sparkle on the waves. And I was in so much bliss. I was so happy to be there. I just felt so grateful that I could have this experience, that I allowed myself to have this experience. And I just remember I was smiling and I was being like you see those the pictures. I had my arms out and I was just like, yes, I am here. And I found myself at times in tears. And I then had this like real time aha moment, like right there. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I were with someone else, I wouldn't be having these feelings. I would not be so consumed with my own joy and my own bliss and gratitude because if somebody else was with me. And because of all kinds of reasons, not because it was anything bad, but because I would be very, if not even more, focused on how are they feeling? Are they having a good time? Are they thinking I'm really weird because I'm just like so happy to be here? Um, and it was just this moment of, oh, wow, this is something really special to be somewhere by myself. And for a lot of different reasons. And because when I travel alone, all that attention that we often put out there into other people and to other responsibilities, I have now brought it all back and just placed it on me and what I was doing and what I was feeling. I mean, how my body was feeling, how my feelings were feeling, just this experience. And realizing that when I'm by myself, I can really feel things more deeply. I can hear my own thoughts. I'm not, listening to others or trying to assume what others are thinking. I can just really feel myself. Uh, and what I realized is are those kinds of experiences have made me become even more loving towards myself, even more trusting of myself. And so a lot of women, as I just know, just from getting to know you a little bit, often feel this pull, this urge, this something inside saying, I need to do something like this so that I can reconnect to me. And so what I want to talk about today is, why we get this urge, this pull, what stops us from doing it, and then what can actually happen when we do go, when we do travel. And so women feel this pull for all different reasons. I loved talking with you all earlier about the different reasons why you wanted to solo travel. And sometimes the urge is very easy to identify. It's like, well, life is so busy. I need a reset. I want some adventure. I want something new. I'm always taking care of other people. I just want to focus on myself. Those are often the reasons that are um, easy to identify for why you might go to spend some extended time by yourself. And then often that pull is a little bit, what's beneath that is a little bit harder to explain. And that's what I'm going to focus on today. Because your life is full, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Everything really looks fine from the outside. Life looks like it's good, but then something just with inside you feels a little bit off. And I'm wondering if you have felt that before, where there's no, yeah, there's nothing to complain about. Things are okay, but just something feels like a little bit flat. And maybe there's this disconnect from how everything looks to how you're really feeling inside, and almost like you have lost yourself somewhere along the way. Where you might think back, I used to feel more like me. I used to have things that I loved. I used to have things that I was really curious about or dreamed about doing, and I knew what made me feel really alive. And then life kind of slowly fills up, and the responsibilities happen. There's relationships, there's work, there's expectations, and then one day you might feel like, whoa, hold hold on, wait, what did my life become? And you know I know I've had times where I don't even know what I want anymore. I don't even really know what would make me happy right now. And this is a huge one. Tell me if you relate. I don't know who I am when I'm not taking care of somebody else. For myself, my a lot of my solo travel started because it was an escape. And it wasn't so much to go somewhere and to find myself and to experience myself. It was to get away from what was going on in my life. I was in a really difficult marriage. I got married very young. We both brought our pretty decent sized baggage into the marriage. It was hard. I was not happy. I was really numb. I was not at all in touch with my body for a lot of different reasons. And so my solo travel was not so much, again, like I said, oh, I'm going to go see this and adventure. It was like, I just need to get away from what's going on here. So maybe there's relationship stress or job stress or family stress, but it comes more from just needing that space to breathe and to be away from. Uh, and then as I traveled more, it became fuller. It became a fuller experience. So I realized not just what solo travel can help me get away from, but actually how it can help me expand into myself. So all of these are really great reasons. And then, uh, women have these great reasons, but then a lot of them still just don't go. And so why is that? Why would there be such a great pull and reason to go, but what keeps you from not going? And so there's the practical reasons, like some of you talked about, the safety stuff, or maybe traveling alone feels scary, or, think, well, what if and this is where lots of questions come in. What if I get lost? What if I get lonely? What if something goes wrong? And those are kind of the concerns that are the loudest, that will keep, you know, kind of good reasons to not go. Well, I'm just worried about, my own safety. But then you can go a little bit deeper. And so often the feeling that's deeper is a lot of guilt. A guilt for, well, I shouldn't spend money on myself like that. Guilt for taking time. I shouldn't take that much time just for me. Guilt about leaving the family, especially if you feel like you're the one that kind of holds everything together. If you've given yourself that job to be it all, you might be asking, well, if I go somewhere, who's going to take care of things? It's all going to just go to crap, right? And then, there's guilt about just doing something just for yourself. How could I possibly uh, feel good about spending all that just on me, where I have a family or a partner or what have you? Why is that okay just to do this for me? So, and then there could be the ideas, and maybe you've experienced this where, okay, I want to do this for myself, and you get people from the outside saying, oh, that's kind of selfish, or, they don't understand, well, why do you want to do that? Or maybe they take it really personally. Maybe you have a partner who has said in the past, you want to go away for a week? Why? What's wrong with me? Kind of thing. And that makes it really hard to go do something for yourself. Uh, Questions often come up of, what if my life doesn't fit the same when I get back? Or what if I don't want to come back at all? That can be really something that's scary of how much would this change me? What if I realize things that I'm not ready to realize yet? Um, Lita, you gave a really good example of what happened at the end of your solo travel. Um, and so, if any of these reasons, these kind of questionings come up within you when you think about solo traveling, they probably come up in your mind anytime you are given the opportunity to put yourself as a top or a higher priority. And so I think that's something really interesting and something really important to be aware of. What are those fears what are those questions that you're asking yourself, and see how they're being mirrored in your life kind of across the board. So those are often the reasons that people don't go. And I'm going to say that those reasons to not solo travel are the exact reasons to solo travel. I don't like to often tell anyone what they should do, but this one thing I get I get pretty vocal about. I think all women should at least try solo travel. And when I say that, I think all women should also try traveling to just be with yourself. There's a big difference between traveling and meeting up for work or a group or a retreat. And I mean, I lead retreats, so I want women to come on my retreats, but there's a huge difference between doing that and going somewhere and just being with yourself. So what happens when you do that is that you can't avoid yourself anymore. And that's huge. And what that leads to is a lot of clarity. I mean, if you're not used to having that much attention on yourself, it can be uncomfortable. But what happens with that, when you let it be there and you just kind of ease through those feelings of being a little bit uncomfortable, you just start to notice things. You start to hear your own thoughts again rather than everyone around you or the expectations you think are on you. You start to feel your own feelings. You start to see what's really going on in your own life. And sometimes that clarity is really, really beautiful. Like, oh, wow, stepping away lets me see how beautiful and amazing my life is. And sometimes that clarity is really uncomfortable because stepping away, you see, oh, shoot, I now know what needs to change. Uh, Solo travel, like I've talked about, also, you really will learn to trust yourself more, which leads to just amazing, authentic confidence. I mean, I started trusting myself so much more, trusting my body, which is huge. I want to know if you really sink in, can you say, I really trust my body? Uh, I navigate new places. I make different decisions on my own. I figure stuff out. And I've gained this confidence that comes from experience. I mean, when I've traveled, and I can never guarantee things are going to be just amazing and great. Um, but I have traveled, I've gotten lost, I have felt super uncomfortable, I have at times felt a little bit unsafe, but I have also navigated through that. And I've come on the other side with this amazing confidence of, oh my gosh, I know how to get through. I know how to live this life. It's sometimes totally messy. It sometimes looks like like I totally fucked up and sorry, but sometimes it can look like that. But wow, I got through it. And that's this confidence that came from the experience, not just from, mantras of, okay, I'm a confident person, I'm going to do this and do it, but it's confidence from actually doing things that are challenging, sometimes hard, sometimes beautifully challenging, and then seeing, wow, I really handled that. Something I love about solo travel is I just now enjoy my own company so much, which is this really beautiful form of self-love. I really like being with myself. I can be alone with myself and feel really good. I think I'm hilarious. And it's like, okay, if you can't laugh at your own jokes, what's the point? I mean, I just love being with my own thoughts and doing my own thing. I love sharing my experiences with myself. A lot of women will say, well, I don't want to solo travel because I love sharing my experiences with other people. And that's, yeah, of course, that's great. But there is a freedom of sharing your own experiences with you and knowing that that's enough. I mean, that is big. So we're going to go to freedom. I mean, freedom is a huge thing about solo travel, and that freedom comes from when you're really choosing yourself. I mean, just like we were talking earlier, you get to go where you want to go, you get to eat what you want to eat, you get to stay as long as you want, you get to change your plans whether you want, and nobody is needing anything from you. This is I can think of some specific experiences where this has been so wonderful. And I heard this earlier, like going to museums and or just sitting and looking at beautiful views, where if I want to, I can spend 3 hours at one painting, right? And where that's going to be a little different if you've brought your kids with you, if you have a partner, it can get really frustrating if you start hearing from someone else, I'm bored, let's go, what are we going to do? I'm hungry, I'm ready to go. And so when you just have that time for you, there's this freedom to just do whatever the heck you want to do and spend as much time. Uh, you're making your own rules. And that's really fun and also very brave. And it has an effect that is much deeper than you might realize. When you go alone, you have a chance to meet parts of yourself that don't always show up at home or don't always show up when you're with other people. I mean, you have every day you live, you kind of your life falls into some different kinds of roles that you play and who you need to be for other people. And maybe you're the responsible one, maybe you're the helper, you're the friend, you're, the one who keeps things together. And then when you go somewhere new, nobody knows you. You don't have to care what anybody else thinks. Nobody's expecting anything from you. And you might notice that there are parts of you um, that are there, and you get to meet them again. Maybe they're parts that are more playful, more expressive, more emotional, more sensual, more alive. You can practice being more comfortable in your own body. And because you've given this space where you're not constantly watching yourself, making sure you are behaving in the expected ways that the normal people around you just know you as. It gives you space. And again, choosing yourself takes a lot of courage, um, because we don't know what happens. And as far as choosing yourself in solo travel, it's not just it's not just about the travel. It's not just about going somewhere, even though that is huge, especially when you choose a place that just calls to your heart. That is huge. Um, and that's also brave, and that takes a lot of courage. And then it opens up, there's the courage to trust yourself, there's the courage to listen to and then follow that message, that desire, that dream within you, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it feels uncomfortable. Again, it's about giving yourself that space to be with you. And I tell you, your body, your heart, your mind are so thankful when you give yourself your full attention. Oh, it's when you're choosing, and that's the most loving thing you can do for yourself, is to give you your own time, choosing yourself, choosing that time, choosing your own experiencing, and just choosing to be the active member of your own life. So, solo travel is one way to do that. I mean, it's a beautiful way, it's a fun way, it's adventurous, and it's very effective. I have found that travel really is one of the fastest vehicles of transformation. So I'm going to leave with asking a question of, what would happen if you did let yourself be a priority in your own life, and what would happen in your life when you started to choose yourself more often. And I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler alert that great things happen. Beautiful things happen. Amazing magic happens when you do that. So thank you. Thank you for gifting me with your presence and for listening. And please know that I am here and available to talk about what solo travel might look like in your own life. It is one of my very favorite topics of conversation. So thank you.
Wow. Wow, Jennifer, that was so good. Whoops, no, I'm not muted. Okay, that was so good. And I want to ask the women who are here with us today, unmute yourself so we can show Jennifer some love with our applause and our yays and all of that. Let's make it loud and big. Yay!
Yay! Good
Yay!
job,
Thank
Jennifer.
you. Thank you.
Wow.
Yay.
To all of us, to all of you joining us live or who are catching the replay, thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you'd like to get more involved, join us for future Connections on Purpose gatherings on Zoom or in person, or explore On Purpose Woman magazine. Just visit opwgc.com and you'll find inspiration, connection, and opportunities to grow both personally and professionally, all while staying true to who you are. Until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and stay grounded in your purpose. Thanks for watching, y'all.